Good morning, readers. Well, today is release day, and we have launched Thrice Spared, which is book number 17 in the Reg Rawlins Psychic Investigator series. And in this book, you will find Reg trying to figure out who is trying to kill Corvin. Of course, she is one of the suspects because of her history with Corvin. And yeah, well, that will be interesting. I am going to do a reading from chapter 1 for you. Reg watched Corvin walk away from her down the path out of the backyard. Almost as soon as he was gone, the back door of the big house banged, and Sarah was striding towards Reg with great purpose. Reg was momentarily thrown back to her childhood, when an older woman coming toward her like that almost certainly presaged a slap across the head and punishment for whatever real or perceived infraction the current foster mom thought she had committed. And the red aura around her landlady was not a comfort. Sarah stopped in front of Reg, a crease between her eyebrows, her mouth turning down in a stern frown. Her gray hair was in disarray, as if she'd been running her fingers through it. What was he doing here? Reg sighed and let out a breath. She gathered her red box braids in a bunch and released them behind her back. Just came over for a visit, I guess. He came over for a visit, and you let him in? Reg shook her head. I didn't let him in. The only way he could get by the wards that protect this yard and the guest cottage is if you let him in, one way or another. What did you do? I didn't do anything. I was just sitting here. I didn't invite him in. I didn't even call him on the phone. He just showed up here on his own. That isn't possible. Reg raised her brows at Sarah. I didn't do anything to let him in. Did you have something of his here that he could come back to retrieve? Or you gave him a key? I know better than that now, Reg pointed out. She hadn't known all of the rules at the beginning when she had first arrived in Black Sands, but she knew all of the sneaky ways Corvin, a handsome warlock with evil purpose in his heart, could get past the wards that Sarah had set. He had managed to finagle his way around them a few times, and Reg had helped set the new wards, using her newly discovered gifts under Sarah's direction. But now? Sarah stared at her, expecting more information about how Corvin had managed to worm his way in again, sure that it had to be something that Reg had done wrong. Reg just shook her head helplessly. The creases on Sarah's face deepened. Her normally pleasant grandmotherly demeanor was gone. This new development was definitely of concern to her. But if Corvin got past the wards without any action on your part, Reg nodded, you said before that it could happen, that you could not protect the yard from someone whose powers were greater than yours. Sarah sank onto the bench beside Reg. Her face went slack, and Reg grabbed for her, afraid that she would faint and fall right off the bench. Sarah! Sarah held on to Reg's arm, steadying herself, then let go. It's all right, dear. I'm fine. Even so, she put her hand over her heart, breathing heavily. Is it possible? She closed her eyes. Of course it is. Corvin has been growing in strength. He has all of the powers that he's been able to absorb from others and from the artifacts he's acquired, and he's apparently grown enough that he was stronger than Sarah. Okay, so that's a reading from Thrice Spared, my most recent release in the Reg Rawlins series. You can head over to my website and web store to pick that up today, or grab it at your favorite ebook or book retailer. All right, talk to you next week.